supposed to. Only choking in your ears, now we getting close to.
All right, we are live. We're here with Tom Higgins, the Headhunter. He is the two-time Snake Pit champion, black belt BJJ, and currently involved with the Irish Collar and Elbow Revival. So he's been flying around the world, just spreading the love for grappling amongst all of us. Thanks for coming on, Tom.
Thank you for having me, Danny, and it's an honor to be on here. Also, I gotta say I got a special place for you and your gym in my heart, because you were the first one to give me the privilege of a lifelong pipe dream of teaching wrestling in Ireland. So you're the man.
Yeah, that was wicked. I actually was you showed us that Kimura switch into the back take. I was actually showing that again this week.
Love it.
So I haven't forgotten.
And if we're going to go catch snob, it's a double wrist lock.
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I love that. That's a big
so
part of my
say
game.
Single leg though, is it?
Still single leg.
Yeah, we're cool.
I'm glad that left a lasting impression.
Yeah, certainly did. Yeah. So could you just give us like a little rundown of your background, like how you got into catch at the start, your BJJ training, and then obviously your interest in the collar and elbow?
Oh boy, we're in for a tale, huh?
Yeah. Let's just do a nice easy breakdown of everything you've ever done.
For sure. Well, it's all gonna start with my obsession with WWE as a child and Goldberg and The Undertaker and shit, and seeing those guys on TV and being like, oh, that's what I'm going to do. Like, I'm definitely doing that when I'm older, because I thought it was like real. And now I just see guys beating each other up in the ring, and I wanted to do that. And it wasn't until I got a little older I realized it wasn't real. I'm like, what? They're hitting each other with chairs. They're jumping off the top. How can that be fake? And I come from a long line of baseball players. Like, my family's really good at baseball. My dad, my grandpa, my cousins, like all American pros, like. And then I sucked. I couldn't hit the ball. I was bored as shit out there standing in the field. Like, it was just not for me. And I think I disappointed my dad, and he realized early on that I was just like a, chunky little aggressive kid who couldn't hit the ball. So he put me in wrestling. And when he told me, I'm bringing you to wrestling practice, you're going to try this out, instantly I thought, wait, no way. Like, I'm going to be in a ring. Like, what, is there chairs? Like, is it going to be like that? He's like, no, it's not like that at all. And
awesome.
Sure enough, he brings me to the practice, and I was like, this is weird. They're trying to show me moves and single legs. And if they would have said like, go just roughhouse, it would have been, okay. But I was trying to learn these moves and whatnot. And funny enough, I've only told this story maybe once or twice publicly. I signed up in the middle of the season. So the very next day was a tournament, and they were like, here's shoes, singlet, just bring them to the tournament. We get there, and there's a girl. And my dad's like, how bad would that suck to face a girl and lose to her? Sure enough, what do you think happens in my first match? I go against the girl, and I lose by points in my first match ever. Like, trying to stumble around out there. Like, what? I think they told me to like go for the legs. All right, let me try that. No idea what was going on. So yeah, my career could have ended right then and there on the very first match if I
That's awesome,
was a sore enough loser. But I think as well, if you've coached kids classes, when you're young, the girls beat up on the boys. That's kind of how it just goes.
For sure, yeah.
So I wrestled for all of my youth, and like I said, I was a chunky little kid. I did okay, but then as we got older, some of the kids I was facing were already man children, and I was still a doughy boy, and I was getting my ass whooped a whole bunch in like 7th and 8th grade, and I almost quit. Hated it. But then I stumbled on UFC, Ultimate Fighter type of deal, and I realized, oh, wait, wrestling is a style of fighting. Like, this is like WWE if it was real. There's submissions and shit. Like, this is awesome. And it kind of flipped a switch for me to start taking wrestling seriously, whereas before it was just a sport I did, and I cared more about skateboarding and like Slipknot and shit like that when I was a child. And yeah, that kind of turned things around. I started getting serious about wrestling and MMA, and I dabbled with submissions as much as I could, like at open mats and trying to just drop in and wrestle around with my friends. And I knew as soon as I was done with high school, I was going to get into jiu-jitsu, judo, mixed martial arts and stuff. So that's what I did. I was right out of high school and went to a MMA gym, started training. I had one fight. My eyes were really susceptible to damage for a while, though. Like I had multiple scratched corneas, retina damage, and I wasn't really able to keep striking. And that frustrated me. That made me want to, quit, because I'd already grappled for so long. I was wanting to do some striking and some fighting. So I was not training anything at all for a little bit, and it was kind of depressing. That was when, no-gi grappling was really popping off, like Gary Tonin and those guys. I would say around like 2014 or so, grappling was getting really big, and I was like, you know what, maybe I could try this. I'll just, go back and grapple. If my eyes are too fucked up to strike, then let's see where grappling could take me. And I never really looked back from then, and just trained with a lot of MMA guys that I was in before, bounced around gyms, didn't really have a home gym, but I just started competing in as many no-gi tournaments as I could, and had some good success in like grappling industries and tournaments like that, winning some local ones. And I always wanted to see if I could take it to the next level. But unfortunately, along that way, I got scratched in the eye again really bad, just drilling. Somebody stuck their thumb in my eye and scratched like 70% of my cornea. And that was some of the worst pain and injury I ever felt. I had to grapple in goggles for a while. I thought I was going to have to quit grappling too. And I was like, all right, fuck it. I'm just going to become like an armored night fighter. I'm going to start fighting in the steel fighting things like the medieval MMA shit that you see now. But I opted to wear goggles for a little while and just keep grappling and competing in the tournaments that did allow me to wear these goggles. It was ridiculous. They were like tinted skydiving goggles. I have pictures and videos because I thought it would look too dorky to have like clear lab goggles. So I was like, fuck it. At least if I'm going to do it, I'm going to put the tinted goggles so they can't see my expression and I look like weird out there. And I will say that time period actually made me a much better grappler because those things would fog up and they were tinted, so I couldn't see a thing. I'd be effectively grappling blind, and it made my sensitivity a lot better. And so that's kind of the rundown of my early grappling career, just kind of bouncing around as a Ronin and competing, sometimes wearing goggles. And some tournaments wouldn't let me wear the goggles. Some tournaments wouldn't let me compete because I didn't have an official belt, because I didn't train in the gi. I didn't have an instructor. I didn't have an academy or a formal coach. So certain like super fight organizations would turn me down, and some of them would just feed me right to black belts, and I would win those matches. And then in follow-up tournaments, I would try to go to the same division, the brown and black belt expert division. And then word started getting like, oh, this guy doesn't even have a belt. He doesn't, he's lying about his rank. And then a bunch of politics were slowing me down. And that part of period of time was really pissing me off too. And I almost started like a crusade against jiu-jitsu culture. And I always liked wrestling. It was leading me to kind of explore other options. I was like, fuck it, I'm going to do sumo. I don't have to cut weight. I don't have to do cardio. The matches are super short. Like, I was just really exploring other options. And I think, everyone in the grappling sphere knows about catch wrestling. They know about, Josh Barnett and whatnot. There's a lot of history there, but there's not really access to it. There's not a lot of information. It's just like, yeah, these guys used to bet after a day of working in the coal mines in England and Ireland and wrestle each other for pin or submission. And somehow that's what evolved into WWE. Like, used to be legit matches. People didn't care to watch two equally matched guys scrap it out. They wanted to see some entertainment. So it started being like, yo, Danny, we'll go put on a show. You take me down, I take you down. Like, we'll have a nice flow. Nobody really tries to finish each other. And then in the end, you win and no one will be any the wiser. We'll make some money.
Boom,
then we'll do it
split
again
the
next
proceeds.
week.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's some interesting history. But I guess how I got involved in it, I didn't really get involved until I started the Wrestling Wars promotion that I have, and right around the time that I ended up visiting your gym. So this is a fast forward. I may have skipped a little time in there. So let me dial it back a little. While I'm frustrated with jiu-jitsu and whatnot, I end up tearing both of my biceps. One in maybe like 2020, didn't really respect it, just kept training, tore the other one, had to take a layoff. And that's really when I ran into the collar and elbow. I'd heard about it due to the guy Ruan McFadden put out a podcast, and there was some info. I was like, oh, wow, this is crazy. I was always into my Irish ancestry and, Celtic warrior type of shit. And then when I was looking into like sumo, Mongolian wrestling, Indian wrestling, and all this type of stuff, I noticed there was no Irish wrestling tradition that I could find. And I was looking for that. I found Scottish backhold and, catch wrestling English with like Irish immigrants, but the Irish stuff was not coming up. And I was like, maybe they didn't wrestle. Maybe, and you even see in like street fight videos from Ireland, people will separate the clinch. They're like, no, we're just boxing. Like, no, none of that grabbing shit. So I was like, all right, maybe it just really wasn't part of the culture. So then to find that Ruan's work, like the book, his podcast, and like that there was a style of wrestling unique to Ireland, and it was even popular here in America and stuff, it immediately inspired me. I was like, I know I got to get involved with this because it's just something I felt connected to, and I was getting sick of the jiu-jitsu community, and it kind of gave me, something I was connected to, and I never really looked back since. Something I was really passionate about, and I started dabbling with it with some of my students. I don't like the gi. I'm sure you're the same way. You're a 10th Planet guy. You're a no gi.
I don't like it
school
too much.
operator.
It's okay. It's fine. It wouldn't be my favorite, but yeah, it's fine.
Right. I never loved it either, but I did love throws always as a wrestler. So I tried to take what I could from judo, but I didn't do much gi. So it was also something new and refreshing for me, a side of grappling that I hadn't really explored much. And you've been grappling for so long, sometimes things get stale and stagnant. It was something exciting, and it was connected to, my heritage. So I knew I had to be involved. And then fast forward a little bit, doing some events, dabbling with my students. And I had the idea to start the promotion Wrestling Wars so that I could feature collar and elbow like when you read the books and you look, it used to be like a main spectacle. It was like watching a UFC title fight was either bare knuckle boxing, collar and elbow, or catch wrestling. Those were like the badasses of the old 1800s and 1900s Ireland and here, Australia. And I thought that was really cool. So I kind of wanted to do something to bring that back. So the first one I ever made was I held an event where I put guys together, matched them up under collar and elbow rules, streamed it extremely poorly and put it out there. And then after that, I was like, that was cool, but I don't know how often I'll be able to get people to want to do collar and elbow regularly. So I was like, fuck it, catch wrestling. That's always something I was into. So let's see if anyone would do that. I know a lot of wrestlers. I know a lot of jiu-jitsu guys. Let's run a pin or submit rule set. So we did that for the follow-up one. And right after that second one was when I had planned a trip to Ireland. I wanted to come for the longest time. And I was like, I got time. Fuck it, I'll go around Halloween. That's a ancient Irish holiday. Maybe I'll go on some sort of vision quest pilgrimage. And then when I booked that trip, I realized that the Snake Pit Worlds was happening at the time that I was booked to be in Ireland. And I just started a promotion with catch wrestling. So I was like, okay, this is like a sign for me. I got to do this now. This is going to be like a real wrestling journey here. So that was when I had visited Ireland for the first time and visited your gym. I made it like a true corny vision quest, like I said, a pilgrimage, go around all these Irish sites, the Cuchulainn Stone, and try and be like, all right, let's see. I'm gonna do this mission, see if I can, bring some attention to Irish wrestling. I'm gonna wear my collar and elbow pants. I'm gonna wear all green. I'm gonna spend the time in Ireland. I'm gonna go clean house in England and become a world champion. I always wanted like a big prestigious win like that. I think every grappler's after some sort of cool title, and made it happen. I had the honor of teaching at your gym. I got to make a bunch of friends, and that was a surreal experience. Fast forward, did many more events for Wrestling Wars Catch Wrestling. I became friends with Josh Burnett, who's like the chieftain of catch wrestling. Literally, he's synonymous with catch wrestling. So that's a really cool relationship to have. Make friends with the Snake Pit people, just getting more involved, teaching it, competing in it. I competed in Josh's tournament. I went back and I won the second Snake Pit tournament, repeated the whole routine of going to these Irish sites and taking the power from the stone circles and whatnot. And just putting collar and elbow message out there, as you've seen on social media, or anyone who's been annoyed by me just spamming that, making sure everyone knows that was a thing. And I just find myself here now completely immersed in wrestling and relating it to Ireland via catch wrestling, via collar and elbow, even my logo, like the Celtic stylized stuff. I just really have felt compelled to, contribute to wrestling in Ireland.
That's awesome. I actually didn't realize that you were into collar and elbow first. I thought it was catch first, followed by collar and elbow, but that's very interesting.
Yeah, no, I still don't know of any catch wrestling like programs or gyms or practitioners anywhere near me. It was just, and I don't know, I didn't really train it or learn it from anyone. I just have a wrestling background and I have an aggressive grappling style. I had experience in jiu-jitsu, so it just was a style that worked well for me. And I guess becoming a champion in it and like working with Josh and the Snake Pit and stuff makes me a bona fide catch wrestler. And again, catch wrestling is like a meme to some people. It's like, it's got no respect in a way.
Once you win a title, I think that's you're a catch wrestler.
All right, I'll take it. I felt like, since nobody really knows about it or gives it any respect, it's almost like McDojo-y in a way. Like, this guy's a fucking catch wrestler, it's usually some pot-bellied guy who's demoing on like noobs and like he's never competing. His students are never competing. They're not competing in grappling. They're not competing in catch. It's like more like a McDojo type of deal. So at first I felt like, is this what I want to align myself with? But again, I wasn't really concerned with that. I know that catch wrestling had a connection to Ireland as well, because they say it was started in England with Irish immigrants just beating the shit out of each other after a hard day's work, betting on their matches. There's like, the Cornish wrestling and Irish collar and elbow, backhold, all these guys with like different wrestling backgrounds, just kind of doing a rough and tumble wrestling brawl, if you will. That's kind of how I see catch wrestling. It's like the closest thing to a fight without strikes as it could be. Obviously, jiu-jitsu is a combat art and we love it. It's fucking violent as shit. But catch wrestling is a little more brutal and frantic due to the pin, and like the mentality of it is just like in the name, catch what you can. Grab something and rip it, grab something, crank it, like just get it done however you can. And I think that's the main difference in it. Even before I was into catch, you could say I was a catch wrestler just based off of the style of, pinning, pressure, brutal submissions, and just aggressiveness.
Yeah. That's funny because like I think the reputation that catch wrestlers would have in training will be very similar to what you're describing there, but having trained with you don't train like that. Well, unless it's just like being nice to us because we're jiu-jitsu heads.
Yeah, it's definitely a different level of brutality they unleash in competition. I save it for
Yeah,
that.
for sure.
But it's not sustainable. As you know, you've grappled for a long time, and the
Yeah,
wear
for
and tear
sure.
is fucking real. And I'm 32. I feel every bit of it. So I think people get a little turned off of it as well because they think it is just like, oh, we're just hurting each other. We're just being brutal. But wrestling should be trained in a similar way to jiu-jitsu as far as like the playfulness and the flowing nature of it. Like that's the way to get better, in my opinion. Of course, you're gonna have to turn it up once in a while and train hard, but majority of the training that I would do for my students when I'm trying to teach them, catch wrestling or wrestling in general is a lot more like playful and like chaining things, going low intensity and trying to just link moves together rather than just brutalize each other. No one's going to want to be in the room.
Yeah, yeah. Or they want to be there, but they just can't.
Yeah, that too. It's not sustainable. And you got to wonder what these guys in the 1800s and 1700s, their body was probably broken from all the labor they were doing. And you shred your ACL or you shred your shoulder or something. It's just like, all right, I'll deal with it. Carry on.
Yeah, yeah. Guess I don't wrestle anymore.
And with
Back to the
collar and
fields.
elbow, when we were first getting involved with it, nobody that I knew around here had any idea of it. Nobody, had heard of it. Even when I would talk to like grapplers from Ireland or like you guys and your gym, you were aware of it by then. But even today, like the post I made the other day, a bunch of people from Ireland, like jiu-jitsu guys, judo guys, like no idea that it even existed. And for a while, like I said, I was looking for that type of thing and nothing until Ruan had put out his book and podcast and whatnot. Nobody has any idea, but I think it's finally catching on. Did you know about it ever? Like during your grappling journey, you've been training for a long time. Did you ever hear
it was
of it?
from never until the same. I heard about it from Rudon's podcast. Yeah, the Hero with 1,000 Holds. Yeah, it was crazy. Like I couldn't believe it.
It's
maybe you can talk us through the rule set a little bit and just tell us how it's different from judo.
Yeah, for sure. I was getting mad comments on, oh, this is just judo. Oh, it's just Irish judo. Oh, all right, drunk judo.
Yeah. It's not exactly.
It's in the name.
It's jacket wrestling, so it's judo.
Exactly. So in the name, you grip the collar, you grip the elbow, you can't let go. That's an obvious difference. Most judo throws or, even sambo, whatever, you want a favorable grip. You want dominant leverage over your opponent, and you don't want them to have, the same type of grip or any leverage of their own before you execute a big throw. That's kind of the whole point, right? You want to maximize your leverage and advantage to execute a throw. That's kind of the essence of judo, if you will. But in collar and elbow, since you're both locked up in a 50-50 grip, the off balances are really hard. You can't release the grip and get a favorable grip. So that takes away a lot of people's setups. For example, if they like to do a sleeve grip or same side grip or double collar, double sleeve. So that's out the window. You also cannot hit the ground like a sacrifice throw. You can't hit your back or your hip or anything like that to throw your opponent. If you hit your knee, that's technically like a reset. Like if we're scuffling around and I drop to my knee or you trip out my leg and I hit my knee, that's like a reset. If I try to throw you and I drop to my knees, like say a shoulder throw, I can't do that. I can't hit my knees. Otherwise it wouldn't count. I'd have to cleanly throw you from your feet down. And you also have to maintain an upright stance in it, which that goes against every grappling instinct. Like every grappling and wrestling style, you get into a low stance, you hide your hips, you hide your legs, you want to get underneath the guy. In this, you have to stay upright because otherwise you're just hiding your legs. You're limiting your opponent's offense, and then you're not going to be able to get anything off either because your legs and hips are so far away from your opponent. So you're left to really just use your feet and legs to get the guy down. And it was referred to as a fist fight with the feet a lot. And I think that's accurate because you definitely beat up your feet and shins. And we know these guys used to have like nailed shoes on back in the day while they were doing this and just absolutely butchering each other's legs. And man, I can't imagine. But yeah, no groundwork at all. And
I think I saw another nickname for it was like shin kicking.
Yeah. And they still have a tradition of that in like a northern county of England or something. They literally just grab onto each other's coats and kick each other in the shins until somebody goes down. Yeah, just pure brutality. A lot of
awesome.
old sources, it's definitely savage. It embodies the bare knuckle and just like tough nature of the people from that area and that time. The collar and elbow, I think also, highlights the fairness aspect. Like we were saying before, separating street fights, like being in an actual conflict, but still having the courtesy to like obey the rules and like, no, let's keep this fair and clean. It's kind of how I see collar and elbow. Like you both got the same grips. There's no bull rush, like tackle. You can't just, overpower the guy. They prided it on like being a scientific style. There's a newspaper article that Ruan had in his book or his podcast. I can't recall, but I've always thought it was hilarious. It was from like 1901 or something like that. it was a Dublin newspaper article, some guy ripping on Japanese jiu-jitsu. And he's like, yeah, this degenerate form of rolling around on the ground is like the lowest form of the sport. In Ireland, we only uphold, collar and elbow, where we stand on our feet and, we decide the matters with a fall. There's no need for this undignified stuff. I always thought that was hilarious.
Oh, that's
Kind of just
hilarious.
embodies the attitude of the time.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. I mean, there's still, I think wrestlers sometimes still have that attitude towards jiu-jitsu.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's hard to hate on any, like, I have the death to guard pulling and all that stuff, but it's hard to hate on any strategy that's going to get you a win. Like, if you're going to stand with this guy and you're going to get thrown on your head, or you're going to lose, like, why would you not go to the tactic that's going to win you the match? It's just not the most exciting. It's not what I enjoy. It's not what a lot of people want to see. But as much as I talk crap on it, like, hey, I'm all for any way to win, man. Like, it's part of the art. It's something you got to deal with. Like, there's some really dangerous fucking guard pullers who will shred your leg or choke you unconscious. So it's just preference.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And I've noticed
I think it's just got to be,
very good.
If you're going to pull guard, that's got to be a choice, like, you should be able to do a takedown. You know what I mean? You should have wrestling. If you want to pull guard for an advantage, that should be a choice that you make, not your only option,
Right. And to be honest, if I was going against some absolute fucking stud wrestler and I'm trying every takedown I could and can't get him down, then of course I'm going to do what I got to do. Maybe you'll see me sit down if I'm ever in that situation, but it's not ever going to be my...
shit, here we go. You heard it here first.
It's not ever going to be my first tactic. But again, to get the win, you got to do what you got to do. You can't just, throw any part of the game out. And I was going to say, I've noticed in visiting gyms in Ireland and like seeing some of the athletes, the jiu-jitsu is extremely high level. Like the groundwork, the submissions, the guard work, like it's on par with anywhere else. Like we have pretty good jiu-jitsu here in the Midwest. And when I was over there and rolling around with some of you guys and at other gyms, like there's really no difference. You guys are cutting edge. There's very high level jiu-jitsu in Ireland, but I know the wrestling and the standing, the ham fighting, all that is in demand and it's lacking. It's not as, apparent. There's no one currently doing like international freestyle for Ireland. And that kind of goes back to like years ago when I'd noticed this, even before I figured out collar and elbow. I was like, man, they don't have a freestyle team. They don't even have anyone like trying to go out there and like lose in the first round to a Russian or something. Like, well, shit, why don't I try to get citizenship and maybe I could try it. I'll go get my ass kicked as long as they have someone trying to like fly the flag. And I've seen there are some freestyle clubs now. I've been following it and that's badass to see. I don't know, man. Imagine one day it's Ireland's reputation is like Dagestan or some shit. Like you go to Ireland and you're going to get some high level wrestling training, be it freestyle, catch, collar and elbow, something like that. That's kind of how it was a long time ago. And to see it become that again would be something special, maybe a generation from now.
Yeah.
So when did you start training?
Running for years. It was running from the 1800s. So it was like a weightlifting club with wrestling in it. And they just stopped the wrestling program there. I think it was about five or 6 years ago. Hercules in town. And they just shut it.
So bizarre.
So they've no wrestling either. But that was like an unbroken kind of lineage for, Yeah. It was
it
like
freestyle?
What would you call it? Like freestyle. Yeah.
Interesting.
But it's like it was a very small club and it was like, yeah. The weightlifting part is still going as far as I know, but they shut the wrestling program. So,
man,
it's a pity, man.
They got to bring it back.
Like they were, yeah.
When did you start training jiu-jitsu, first, Danny? What year?
Jiu-jitsu, I think 2012. I started back. So I had trained some like Japanese martial arts before. It was Bujinkan Ninjutsu. But I quit that. Well, not quit, but I think I was training that in around kind of 2000, 2001. I went back to college in 2003, and then I was like living around different spots around the country. So I kind of took a break from that, and then I moved back to Dublin like in around 2010, and I think it would have been around 2012, and I picked up jiu-jitsu again. Thought this is going to be grand, man. It's going to be fine. Like, I've already trained. It's going to be easy. And I just got fucking jacked. Oh, they fucked me up. It was so funny.
That was gi?
Gi, yeah. Yeah, it was rough.
And was it relatively like low key and niche at that time? Was jiu-jitsu anywhere near the popularity that it is now in Ireland?
No, it was picking up, it was kind of on the up at that stage, but it wasn't super popular, I think it was really with that. You remember when Conor kind of blew up? Like that was really when the clubs kind of started pumping, because there was a lot of interest in MMA. But like, obviously there's a bunch of people who, they try MMA and then they're like, I actually fucking hate getting punched in the face. So what's the next best thing is like there's no wrestling over here. You know, there is a judo scene, but it's quite small, you know, so, you know, most MMA gyms would have a jiu-jitsu program then as well. So then there was much more people. Then we got a lot of like Brazilians moving over as well. And a lot of those guys were black belts, and they would like come over, they'd start training, they'd open up clubs. So it just kind of like all of a sudden there was a bunch of good fucking schools floating around, you know. I started under an Irish guy, Ray Butcher, and then I went training with George Santos, who was like a black belt. I think Ray was a brown belt at the time, and George was like a first degree black belt. Yeah, George is very good. He's still banging away. He's a rake of clubs around the place now, as far as I know.
So when did you start 10th Planet Dublin?
So I think like we officially affiliated, I think 2016, but we had been getting Jeremy over from kind of like 2013. I think I started back jiu-jitsu 2012. My brother went over with a friend of his to visit. Jeremy was doing like a seminar in England, so we went over and did the seminar. And then he was saying to Jeremy, "Would you be interested in coming back to Dublin at some point next time we're in the UK?" So we got him over then the next year, and then we just kept getting him back and back. And we were like, we were saying, "Oh, it'd be fucking awesome to like start a gym sometime," you know. Jeremy's like, "Yeah, bro, let's do it. Like, what do you need? How can I help?" So he's just like so fucking into it, you know what I mean? I would say he's like a missionary for 10th Planet. He's just like, you need 10th Planet. You need 10th Planet.
I love that. I gravitated towards 10th Planet myself, and I taught at a 10th Planet out here, 10th Planet Lombard for a little while, just because the no-gi and yeah, I'm obviously partial to the Eddie Bravo conspiracy type of deal too. Like I vibe with it. Have you ever met Eddie?
And the weed.
Yeah, that too.
I met him once. Yeah, I met him at a seminar in Amsterdam, and he's exactly the same in real life as he is on the part, like identical. I went outside. I was doing some rolls after the seminar, and I went outside, and Eddie's like out there smoking weed, and there's like a bunch of fucking 50 people standing around him, and he's just telling a story about the Clintons fucking drinking baby blood, you know.
That's hilarious.
Like, bro, this is fucking amazing.
I love it. Yeah, I've yet to meet him, but I know I've have some good conversations with him. Eric Paulson is the same way. I've had some,
awesome,
some wild chats with him. That's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. Eric Paulson, there's like an OG as well. You're talking about OG catch.
For sure. Do you know Mick Aldridge in Ireland? He's the one who started the first jiu-jitsu gym in Ireland, apparently. Yeah, his gym is real small.
That's awesome.
I got to teach there last time I was around, and Atai, am I saying that right? Athy. Atai.
Oh, yeah.
Atai. So
yeah, Atai, yeah.
He started it in like 93 or something, if I'm not mistaken. I was like, holy shit. That literally was
that's crazy.
Way ahead of the times, right? And I think he was already, he might have been a brown belt or something at the time. And he's still running. They're just in the top of like a community center, and just super humble, cool, older dude, never drank or never smoked a cigarette, had a drink or nothing. And he still rolls all the time.
That's awesome. Do you know the name of the club, just out of interest?
I think it's just a Thai Jiu-Jitsu.
I'll have a check. Yeah. Might try and spin down. Tom sent me.
The 10th Planet aspect as well. Are you guys the only one in Ireland?
Oh, we are right now. Yeah, there was a 10th Planet in Carlow, but he shut down there just with the COVID and stuff, I think. You know, the gyms had to close for quite a while, so I just think he didn't make it through. But he's still teaching. He teaches in it's Rory McCann, sorry. He's a black belt, so he teaches out of Jordan Fitness in Tullow. So he's doing like a no-gi program with those guys. I think he's doing like 3 days, maybe 4 days a week. I'm not totally sure. But yeah, Rory's a fucking beast. He's an animal.
And one thing I loved when I connected with you and got to come to your gym is that our logos was made by the same artist as well.
Oh yeah, that was hilarious. That Celtic Hammer Club guy.
Yeah, I love that. And do you?
Yeah, it was wicked. I had a kind of a plan in my head.
I was going to say, do you have any guys who are interested in, trying freestyle, catch, collar, any of that type of deal? Is there any wrestling enthusiasts?
Yeah, for sure. There's definitely a bit of interest. Yeah, I don't know how serious people are about it. You know what I mean? There's definitely people who talk about it. Like, we do quite a lot of wrestling now, quite a lot of stand up now, and we have a bunch of people who like to stand. So we have a couple of guys. There's this one dude, Andy Hines, who's absolute fucking nightmare in the feet, dude. He's horrible. It's awful rolling with him. He's just like mashing people constantly. He has, I don't know. It's, if you imagine someone who got their ability to get tired surgically removed, that's what it's fucking like. He just never slows down.
You
And
guys
like
have a
he's
great
he's
room.
doing this stuff. If you saw people doing this, you would say like, who is this fucking fruitcake? What the fuck is he doing? And it actually works. Like he'll be like, people will be fucking. He'll just turn around and start like running at your ass first. You know what I mean? Like butt first, and he'll just
Leg
fucking
locker?
mash you down. And no, he's not. He'll just like turn around and fucking ass blast into you, and like you just got taken down, and now he's fucking on top of you surfing neon belly. You know what I mean? Like he does crazy
Again,
shit. It's hilarious.
all the different ways to win or, strategize. You got to love it. You got to love the innovation. And that's kind of why I took a liking to the catch wrestling and Irish collar and elbow and all that. Like I'm a nerd for this type of shit. So like when jujitsu gets boring, I explore all these other things and it gives you, some tools to work with, some different approaches and keep things fresh. And a lot of times when I would grapple with guys throughout the years, even just in jujitsu, since I didn't have a coach or like an academy or like even a set group of training partners, I was kind of just winging things and improvising and figuring things out on my own, doing weird setups. And people would always be like, dude, the pressure or the way you did that was so like bizarre. Where did you get that? And I used to credit the goggles too. I was like, I don't know. I grappled in goggles and I just, wing it with my students and figure it out on the fly. But after getting into the collar and elbow and the catch wrestling and stuff like that, it's definitely like training for the pin. I always would train at wrestling clubs as well. So I'd be doing my jiu-jitsu rolling and then I would go to clubs where we would just wrestle for takedowns or pins and stuff even. But then as I was getting ready to do the catch wrestling, I would go to my, jiu-jitsu rolls and I would focus on like, okay, don't go to your back, go to turtle, try and pin these guys whenever you can and keep them pinned. And that definitely changed my style. It made me a lot harder to hold down. It made me, much more scrambly. And then as a result of rolling like that, you build up like a cardio and a presence that just wears people out as well.
Yeah, for sure.
And with the collar,
I think it's a panic as well,
Oh yeah, for sure. Some of the scrambles too, like if you make a guy constantly react to what you're doing and like chase the position, for sure you guys are in like a back and forth, like a catch up. But if you're used to rolling that way and they're not, they're gonna fade before you do and eventually just kind of wilt. And that's a little bit of what I try to employ, like make them play defense and catch up the whole time, drain their stamina bar. And the collar and elbow, like obviously it's going to make your foot sweeps a lot better and your trips, and that could transfer over to regular grappling. Even if you don't have the jackets and the grips, it's definitely helped me with that. But one unexpected benefit was it made my triangles a lot better. It made my guard passing a lot better just from getting better dexterity with my legs. I remember all of a sudden getting good at triangles. It's never been my move. I'm stockier. I got short legs. I don't play a lot of guard, but after a lot of collar and elbow, suddenly I was hitting mad triangles on people. And I credit that to just the dexterity of having to use the legs only. So there's a lot of hidden benefits to it.
Yeah.
What would you say?
I really like the jackets that you got done up as well, the uniform jackets.
Yeah, those are sick. I can't take credit for them though. I am getting some of my own made by manufacturers, but that was Ruan and guys from the BJJ Globetrotters. But I do love that jacket. I did design the pants though that you see. They're like a knee high or like a three-quarter length pants with like the knot work down the side. I think those look pretty slick.
Yeah, they're awesome.
I was gonna say, what do you think is?
Sorry.
I was gonna say, what do you think is the next step in Ireland's grappling? Like, what's the trend? Everyone went through the leg lock boom of like the 2020s. What do you think's next?
Yeah, I do think that there's a lot of wrestling at the moment. I think guys are playing a lot more, like they're playing a lot more stand up. They're playing a lot more top control, like that old school kind of grind and pressure. You know what I mean? And then I think a lot of people are trying to get up off the bottom now as well. So I think like you're saying earlier about coming to turtle. So there's a lot more like turtle breakdown stuff coming, a lot more stuff about trying to like leg ride stuff, Turks, to try to hold people down, like even stuff like the handcuff, the 5-0 handcuff, the Dagestani, like that stuff to try to like collapse people down and start to like flatten them out so you can get into back control and that kind of stuff, like, and really like I think that's for me anyway. Like I'm seeing a lot of it, like heavy passing, heavy pressure, and this like I wouldn't call it exactly pinning, but it's more like giving pin pressure to try to get people to expose subs. You know what I mean? But
for sure.
Yeah, I'm definitely seeing it. And like the standard of stand-up, I think has shot through the roof in the last few years. You know what I mean? In jiu-jitsu in general, no-gi especially. But yeah, I definitely think it's like one of the next big things,
I agree. I'm glad to hear you say that. I noticed too, like looking and following all the gym's pages, I see more and more people wearing wrestling shoes and like clinching and hand fighting and like takedowns on their social media and shit. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's great crack.
and
And
I'm
it's just
excited
fun,
to.
as well. It's like butt heads with someone,
Yeah,
you
it's
fell
awesome.
over.
It's perfect, right? It's so fitting. That's why it's like a shock that ever fell out to begin with.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm very excited to come wrestle my way across Ireland next month.
Oh yeah, the world tour or the Irish tour. Sorry. Yeah.
Something
Do you
like
have
that. I'm
you
be
got your
over for
dates set
14
already?
days.
It's
Yeah, I'm be
14.
over
Yeah.
for 14 days. Well, I'm coming too because my girl, I started dating a girl from Ireland last time I was over for about a month, and she came over here with me for a while. She was here for like 90 days. She went home. I visited her. Then we were trying to bring her back, and they denied her visa, so she's been stuck there for a little bit. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna
Oh
come
man.
over. I'll hang out with her, and I'll continue my quest while I'm over as well. So I'm gonna be at 7 gyms across 14 days and try to force some collar and elbow in there. Most of the interest is in like, the actual like no-gi wrestling and some of the catch stuff that's more applicable to, you know, grappling as a whole. But I'm definitely on the collar and elbow crusade. Gotta throw that in there. And there is a lot of interest, I
That's
think, because
awesome.
people are like, whoa, how did this ever fall out? We got to revive this. We're doing so much stuff with Brazilian jiu-jitsu, but we had our own tradition.
Yeah, for sure. It is fun as well. It's I had a go last time you were here, and we did a little bit just with the gi jackets on as well, just to kind of fuck around with it. But yeah, it is fun.
Dude, it's
And like
exhausting,
you say,
isn't
it's a
it?
nice way to practice those trips. Yeah, it's tiring. Yeah, for sure.
That's the
For
first thing I
sure.
noticed. I was like, oh, foot sweeps, they're supposed to be like a graceful, like low effort type of takedown, like a maxed out leverage. But man, when you actually are, like I was saying, gripped up with someone who has the same leverage as you, it's so tiring. Your hands get shot, you're breathing
Yeah.
heavy. Like there's no chilling in it really.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think I've ever got a throw out of it whatsoever. Like
It's
only
hard,
ever
man.
trips. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really hard. I think it's gonna pick up though. I think, and the thing I'm going to do this weekend is it's a like Celtic strength games, like like Highland games type of stuff with stone lifting
Oh
and
yeah.
like the weight tosses, the hammer toss, like tug of war, all that type of stuff. I love that. That shit is badass. I know you're into that too, because when I went to your gym and I saw all the
It's
clubs
awesome.
and maces, I was like, fuck yeah, I'm at home here. Love that. Just like different physical culture type of
Yeah,
stuff. Again,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
I'm scramble brain. I get bored easily doing the same old thing, and that type of physical training just was stimulating to me. I liked it, and when I was getting into the collar and elbow, or even before it, and you'd see events like that, and like the Scottish backhold, I'm like, it belongs in something like this. It belongs alongside those type of games. It's that same type of spirit. So this one's called the No Fame Games. It's just like a big get together of different, Scottish, Irish, Celtic strength games, and I was invited to come out and host the collar and elbow on that, and do a little demo, host a tournament, do a lecture, and yeah, that's gonna be a blast. I'm headed to Boston. I've never been there. I know there's a big
That's awesome.
Irish American community there, so I'm expecting people to really want to get involved with it.
Yeah, that'd be super cool.
There's
Are
a
you going to
judo school
compete
coming,
in the games yourself as well, the strength games?
so I wanted to. I definitely want to lift some of those stones and do all that shit. It's going to be enticing, but I've torn both of my bicep tendons, and part of it to
Yeah,
blame is I blame part of it on the stone lifting I was doing years ago. Just yeah, exactly. It's like nothing but bicep tendons. So we'll see. Maybe the moment will come over me, and I'm gonna have to lift that heavy stone. But I'll probably stay away from the heavy athletics. I may, depending on the level of competition, because there is a judo school coming. There's probably some jujitsu guys, and then there's just some big meatheads who are going to be there. They're going to want to fucking try the collar and elbow. So we'll see. I've done the organizing and the refereeing and the promoting and stuff for all these collar and elbow events, but I've yet to do a collar and elbow match myself. I've just felt corny hosting an event and competing in my own event. Like that's not why
that's
I'm
it.
doing
Yeah,
this. I'm
yeah.
trying to bring
And
awareness,
now
not be like,
next up,
hey,
it's me.
yeah, exactly. It's not a hey, look at me. It's more of like, hey, look at this badass wrestling style that used to exist. Like here it is. But I'm not gonna lie, the urge to compete is getting there because it seems fun. And like even with Wrestling Wars, my promotion, I've hosted tag team matches and stuff, and I'm like, I made this because I thought it would be fun myself. Like, and if I get it to a level where I can compete in it, and I'm not just a jag for doing it, then I'm definitely going to do it because the tag team seems really fun. Collar and elbow seems really fun. So we will see. I guess it'll be a game time decision if I'm going to jump into the actual competitive part of it. But I'd like to get some friendly scuffles in.
Bit of crack anyway.
Definitely.
Drop us what are the dates of do you remember the names of the gyms and the dates of the tours?
Yeah, here, hold on. I can pull it
Here
up.
we go.
Actually.
Written down.
I have July 3rd
Just so.
in Mullingar. Lakeland BJJ is the first date. July 5th in Belfast, Lycan Grappling Academy. July 7th, Rathnapish, 7:30 p.m. Acolyte Submission Grappling. July 8th in Middleton, Cork, Sistema Martial Arts Academy. July 10th in Ciliot Hill, Kildare Martial Arts Academy. July 11th in Athenry, Galway, Conriocht MMA. And then the last one, July 12th in Monaghan, Strength and Honor BJJ. So quite a few, 7 dates.
Nice. And you were literally traveling the length and the breadth there.
Pretty much. There's some zigzagging in there.
Yeah, for sure. That one from Belfast to Cork is going to be a trip and a half.
Yeah, for sure. It's all right, though. There's a lot of places I haven't seen along the way. I'll go take some power from some stone circles.
Nice. You can just run the Wild Atlantic Way down the coast.
Oh, man, I want to drive that so bad. If it was going to work out, that's what I was going to try and do. But they don't work exactly to zip up to Galway from Cork. Otherwise, that would have been perfect.
Yeah.
I'll
I think that trip
back.
from Belfast to Cork is going to be the worst out of the lot. The rest of them aren't too bad.
I'm about to drive 16 hours from Chicago to Boston bright and early tomorrow morning.
Well, yeah.
So it's nothing.
That's not so bad.
Like I said, I'm mostly probably going to be teaching. Like I've got the material covered for some of the gyms. Some of them we haven't gone over that just yet, and there's a little interest in the collar and elbow, but I'm going to find a way to sneak it in there, even if it's just at the end for some fun.
I see. Yeah.
I do got a lot of people asking about the jackets and stuff, though. So I think my efforts of spamming everybody with collar and elbow will have paid off soon.
Nice. Yeah.
Just imagine
if you can.
The UFC or in jiu-jitsu you see in a couple of generations, it's like, don't tie up with that Irish dude. He's going to kick your feet out from under you.
That would be fucking awesome. Yeah. Be super
That's
cool.
the future we're looking at.
Yeah. Be happy with any kind of wrestling, honestly. Collar and elbow is awesome too, but just to keep people grappling, man, it's you know what I mean? It's just, I wouldn't really care if somebody told me I had to quit jiu-jitsu, but I could still wrestle or I could still do collar and elbow, you know. You'd still be happy enough as long as you could do something.
Of course. And in my head, you know, in an ideal world and in a, you know, dream scenario, but I don't know, I've thought a lot of things were just, you know, pipe dreams, and I've come to, you know, bring them to fruition. I would like to have a gym in Ireland and have a gym here, and I could bounce back and forth between the two. And I've already decided if I was going to do one in Ireland, it would be a strictly catch and collar gym. Of course, you would have some jiu-jitsu and stuff, but some MMA, but catch and collar. Not gi and no gi, catch and collar.
I love it. Yeah.
So maybe one day.
I think maybe we need to start a gym that's just like historical Irish martial arts, you know? We'll get a bata school. We'll do the fucking collar and elbow.
Throw some nail shoes on and shin kick. Bare knuckle boxing.
Bare knuckle boxing. It's going to be an easy sell.
I consider catch wrestling a Celtic or Irish art. Like, it gets a lot of credit from England, but even the dude who started the Snake Pit was an Irish guy. His name was Billy Riley. That's an Irish surname, is it not?
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, sure is.
So always finding a way to take credit away from the Irish, huh?
I would get credit for some things.
Right. The wrestling aspect, though, is definitely not one of them. It's something that was basically erased.
Yeah, it's definitely not there's just no tradition whatsoever. I think with the GAA, the focus, like it was, the GAA is the Gaelic Athletic Association. So they were supposed to be about promoting, Gaelic games and all that sort of stuff, but they really just focused in on Gaelic football and hurling, so there's no real tradition of any of the other kind of stuff. I think there was a push at one stage to try to get them to recognize collar and elbow, but they just weren't interested, or even the old kind of athletics.
Saying that strikes a nerve with me, because 3 minutes from my house right now is Chicago's premier Irish Cultural Center, one of the biggest ones in America. Like, they bring people over for GAA games. They have a hurling pitch. They have Gaelic football. They bring athletes and the best hurlers and stuff from around the world there. And as soon as I got involved with collar and elbow, I went there and I told them about it. I showed them the book. I showed them the jackets. I had a fucking PowerPoint. I'm like the worst student in the world. I failed all computer classes and shit. I put a PowerPoint together to try and go be like, hey, this is, an old Irish sport. I'm really passionate about trying to bring this back. Your guys' whole mission statement on your site and on your, location is to promote Irish culture and sports and religion and, music and, America. So I thought they'd be all on board. Now that it took forever for me to even get in contact with them and get a meeting. And the manager at that time just was like, oh yeah, whatever. Then they had new management. I was able to, meet with the guy. I had to kind of overextend myself to just try and get some demos going. They had big St. Patrick's Day and summer events. I'm like, let me bring some of my guys. We'll do a demo. It was more so just a showcase. We're throwing each other around. I hosted one competition there, and people were going nuts, dude. The kids were going crazy. Everyone was loving it. We even got some people to come up and try it. and still nothing. Like I'm trying to meet with these guys and be like, can I do a seminar here? Can I do another event here? Can we run some regular classes? Can we get some, kids programs, some funding? And just, it's like they're waiting to see if someone else, they don't think it's authentic. They don't like the roughness of it. I don't know. It's frustrating, but I'm moving on from them.
Yeah.
I'm going to do another park district around here. I'm obviously taking my efforts to the homeland of collar and elbow. It's just, I don't understand why they didn't want to, get on it, especially because it's like at the very beginning, grassroots, they could be established as the one for it. But not much interest for some reason.
There's just there's no tradition of wrestling, and because there's no tradition, they won't do it. You know what I mean? It's like they're just it's that thing. Like GAA is so big over here. The hurling and football is so big over here that I don't know. It'd be hard to even break into that culture. You know what I mean? Like you could definitely do it for sure, but I don't know. There's families who are like, oh, we're a hurling family or we're a football family, and this is like what we do. You know what I mean? I don't know. It'd be hard to make inroads.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be some wealthy investor out there who's all about that type of stuff that would be willing to try and throw it in there. And like even in the books and like the counts of old collar and elbow, they would do it after rugby matches, or they would do it on the field after hurling matches. Like, hey, you had a problem with this guy during the game? All right, you and him scuffle it out. Yeah, it's so fitting. Awesome. Like it's belongs with all these things, and I think we will get it there, even if it's from me beating my head off the wall and trying to get into these festivals and cultural centers and stuff out here. But it's gonna break through. It's gonna become something, because I know everyone who saw it on St. Patrick's Day, they loved it. There was so many people coming up and trying to get their kids involved or inquire about it, and still nothing from them. So I don't know. I'm done reaching out to that place though.
Yeah. It seems like such an easy win for them as well. You know what I mean? Like if you're coming in with a base already established, like they literally just have to jump on board.
Give me the location.
And it's kind of done. Yeah. Send me location.
It'll be 2-3 years in Ireland and forget.
Fingers crossed. That's the plan.
The Boston thing I'm doing though, like I'm hoping that will lead to something, because apparently there's going to be like Sports Illustrated on site for some of the like strength athletes. There's going to be the news agency for like whatever Boston's local news. I'm doing a lecture at the Irish Cultural Center out there. Do you know who Indiana Stones is?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
He's going to be there.
Maniac.
Yeah, and he's bringing a stone from Ireland to have at Boston. Yeah, they shipped over a rock. I love it. Like it's so goofy to think about some of the shit that we're into at times. Like people messaged me a whole bunch when I would be in Ireland. Like they're looking at my stories. They're like, "So you flew across the world to go look at a rock pile?" Like you're
not
wandering
a rock
around
pile,
the world.
bro. That's my heritage.
Exactly. Like it's just a rock, dude. What's wrong with you? But they're doing a whole ceremony and like leaving a stone there at this Boston Cultural Center so people can come up and like test themselves with the stone and reignite.
That's actually fucking awesome.
Thing. Yeah, that's why I'm like, I feel like I'm going to have to give it a go. This one isn't like massively heavy. It's definitely heavy. It's probably, I don't know. I'm bad with the conversion of pounds and kilos, but I think it's probably around like 300 pounds. So that would be what, maybe like 150 kilos or something like that.
A little bit less would be like 300 would be like 120-ish. Like 120, 125.
Yeah, it's probably somewhere around there. It's manageable. It's not like some of the massive ones that guy's lifting.
Yeah, dude. He's fucking insane. He's so huge. I love that. Yeah. Was it him that was giving that story? He'd say that every village around the country would have a boulder somewhere, and that was the boulder you're going to go and test yourself. You lift a boulder, you're one of the boys. You
want to get paid a man's wage? Go lift the rock. You want to marry this guy's daughter? Go lift the rock.
Yeah, it's fucking
Badass.
Awesome.
And I've got a jacket waiting for him. So he's going to try some collar and elbow. I might be doing some scuffling with him and feel that strength firsthand.
Yeah.
I'm excited to get him involved.
That'll be interesting for sure.
Absolutely.
He's going to be in an XXL, is he?
Yeah, for sure. A4 or whatever, gi-size jacket. Have you seen the page or heard of the guy who runs War Yoga? It's like a lot of swinging away, like maces and stuff. He goes to India. He goes to like Greece. He's like a scholar of wrestling stuff. He's an author and like a philosophy guy. His name's Tom Billinge. He's doing the backhold wrestling there. He's actually the one who recommended me to do the collar and elbow. So shout out to Tom for
wicked.
He's doing the backhold wrestling at the games. So we're kind of combining. I got a belt made up for it too. For the winners between the backhold wrestling and the collar and elbow wrestling will be the Celtic wrestling champion of the day.
That's awesome.
Blast. I like the backhold too. That one's really fun as well. That was like that was popular in Ireland as well. They called it like barrog or whatever. For if you didn't have a jacket, you just lock around the back, grip, can't let go, just throw each other from that chest to chest clinch. That one's fun too.
It's like over under, is it? You getting over under lock? Yeah.
basically just no gi, collar,
Yeah,
and
nice.
elbow.
Yeah. Do not let go.
I'm
So the
looking forward
rule
to
is
seeing
like
some of
3
these.
falls, is it? And if you let
Yeah,
go,
2
that
out of
counts
3.
as a fall.
Yep.
Yeah,
Looking forward to seeing some of these
nice.
fucking
And is that the same with back
giant.
hold as well?
Yeah, it's the identical rules. Just you release the grip or you get the guy down first. We'll see. We gotta have some good
Beautiful.
footage. I'm gonna do my best to vlog it all and put some good content together. Get some giant dudes scuffling and back holding. Should be a big step for the collar and elbow and Irish wrestling movement.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah. What date is that going to be?
That's this Saturday, June 20th.
Yeah, shit. That's awesome.
I don't think I'll be live
Yeah, I
streaming it
can't
just
wait.
because I don't know what the internet setup and shit's going to be like. I stream my Wrestling Wars event, which is the following weekend on June 28th. There should be at least 1 or 2 collar and elbow matches on that. Like we predominantly do catch wrestling, but just like if you go to an MMA event, for example, like you'll see some Muay Thai matches on there sometimes, or even some grappling matches on there. So we'll have some tag matches, some catch matches, some collar matches. And what I've been doing now is at the end, just do like a King of the Hill free for all. We have a wheel for the overtime in my league as well. So like I don't have points. I don't have like judges or nothing. So if it goes all 6 minutes and there's no pin or submit, we spin a wheel and the wheel has collar and elbow on it. It has back hold on it. It has
That's
the belt
cool.
wrestling. If you've seen that, like the Asian belt wrestling, they hold on to the belt. Same type of deal. Just both guys hold the belt. You got to take them down. One of them is just straight takedowns. One of them is sumo. And then one of them is like escape from bottom, quickest escape time from like referee's position. So the overtime wheel will be featured in the King of the Hill event.
Nice.
Yeah. Just going for a chaotic
That's
grappling
awesome.
party. And I have every intention of bringing an event to Ireland.
I mean, chaotic is the word
future.
for sure. That's awesome. Well, let us know
So,
when it's coming. Yeah, I'm sure we'll find someone to jump in.
Absolutely. And I will be back. Like I'm coming for the 2 weeks in July, but I'll be back for that to win that 3rd belt at the Snake Pit tournament. And I got to repeat my ritual of the Cucullin Stone and the Cairns and all that stuff before I go back. So that's in October.
The Vision Quest.
Definitely might even have an extended stay this time around. I stayed for about a month last time, and now that I got my lady stuck out there, maybe I'll manage to stick around a little longer this time and late summer, early fall.
Yeah. That'd be nice just when the weather's getting good.
Yeah. I've yet to experience any nice Irish weather, but I like it. I like the rainy.
It's actually pretty sunny today. It's like 20 degrees.
Gotta love it. I'm not a fan here, dude. It's been brutally hot out lately. It's not what I'm made for. I like the misty gray weather.
Yeah, well, welcome. You're going to fit in well over here.
What I wonder though too is how collar and elbow and like some of the wrestling they did was doing it in the muck, just plopping around, throwing each other around, sloshing in the mud.
Yeah,
maybe that's why they didn't want to wrestle on the ground.
Stories that they do it in like a freshly plowed field, so the earth was like just turned and soft.
That's pretty smart.
Well,
and then you see some of these others like swinging, and these guys are wrestling in like hay and sawdust and shit. And I've dabbled in the beach wrestling here, like that's becoming pretty popular as well. But sand is by far the least fun surface I've wrestled on.
Oh, yeah,
I hate that shit. It's everywhere. It gets everywhere. It's in your face, in your teeth. Like you go home, it's in all your clothes on your fucking floor, your couch. I'm good.
In your fucking eyeballs. You're trying to.
Yeah. And the sun. I don't think our complexion does well with extended sunlight.
I don't know about you. I'm pretty tan for an Irish dude.
A little tanner than me, it looks.
I think that's the lights in the room just making me look good,
Will be quickly become a nice shade of red.
Yep. It's all ahead of you. Just wait till August.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm hoping I'll be there around then. We'll see. I got a farm that I stayed on too as well. Last time, like I worked out I would stay at the farm, do some labor, and I didn't have to pay rent or anything. They feed me. And
cool.
The guy I was staying with wants to do like a whole like pond build in his backyard and just lifting and chucking around a bunch of rocks. So it's right up my alley. I might be doing that as well.
That's awesome.
A lot of time in Ireland.
Strength and conditioning then.
Exactly. And I know you're into that as well. We were alluding to maybe touching on some of that. What got you into swinging clubs and swinging maces and stuff like that?
Yeah, it's just trying to branch out a little bit. It's like the space that we have in the gym is not super good for like barbells or dumbbells really, so it's just trying to find like we have a rack of kettlebells and we have one big sandbag, and then the punch bags. We used to do a lot of stuff like carrying the punch bags or like lifting and throwing the punch bags, that kind of stuff. And then like my brother actually got into the Indian clubs, so he had bought himself a set of Indian clubs, and I got I don't know if you've ever seen those Pavla handles, they're called. It's just like it's like a plastic handle, and it screws onto the top of any plastic bottle, so you can get like a 1.5 liter bottle, you fill it with water, you screw this handle on, and then it's like a little like a kilo and a half club, you know. So I just ordered a set of them and I started fucking around with them. And then my brother, I was looking for a mace. So I was on this fucking site, this like secondhand site, and there was a dude selling a full set of maces from fucking 5 kilos to like 25 kilos, plus a full set of clubs, steel clubs, for like $300. And I was like, holy shit.
Wow.
Like, they're probably $100 each, like at this stage, you know, with the way the stuff has gone. So I was like, fuck it, I'll get the whole thing. So he ended up with like, I don't know, like 10 clubs and fucking 8 maces. But when we moved up to that space upstairs, it's just a bit too short for the
Swinging.
maces, you know. So
Yeah.
just fucking around with the clubs at the moment, yeah. But yeah, it's just fun as well. Like you're saying, you know, if you're a bit ADD, the fucking it's just something else that you can play with. Like I was doing a bit of sandbag carries, I do like kettlebell swings, kettlebell carries, and then like it's kind of another plane as well. You got to kind of think about what you're, you know, you don't move in that kind of frontal or the back plane a lot with normal stuff, you know. So it just makes you kind of focus. It's like a movement pattern as well as like exercise.
Yeah, it's perfect for grappling with all the hand fighting and pummeling motions, and that kind of I discovered that through, you know, nerding out about the different wrestling styles and stumbling upon the Indian Kushti wrestlers, like with their routines and swing a mace and all the burpees and push-ups and squats. And a lot of those guys are vegetarian too, I found out. And I'm a vegan. I've been for like 11 years, and I was inspired by that. And like the legendary Great Gamma, apparently the best wrestler to ever exist, you know, the big mustache dude with the club. I'm sure you've seen the pictures or you're aware of him. And he did like 10,000 push-ups a day and shit. And all that was inspiring to me as well. And I just think stuff like that does make you, you know, just more robust and strong in a way for grappling, like that mat strength. You know damn well some of the strongest guys you felt on the mat didn't look particularly strong before you grappled them.
Yeah. And they're not particularly strong. Like if you were to give them a barbell, you know what I mean? They're not strong in that traditional sense. He's not going to pull a heavy deadlift. He's not going to smash a heavy squat, but he's going to fucking hang out of your neck in a way that just makes you feel like you can't move.
The, what's it called? Your one man, I still remember him. Dave, if you're listening, Dave, you fucking
yeah.
The only man to submit me on Irish soil with his fucking super strong, lanky strength. That was crazy. And on the contrary, too, some super jacked like gym guys, you get them on the mat and you can handle them like a baby. They just feel so weak sometimes because they don't know how to apply their strength in a grappling setting.
Yeah, it's true. And like, there's a lot of stuff about like contact with the floor, you know what I mean? That like your base with the floor is what provides the strength, you know. And if someone just isn't able to base properly, they're just gonna fall over, or they're just unable to, like you say, they can't apply it. Yeah.
Right. Coaching too sometimes can be frustrating, I'm sure, as you know, like your right hand. No, your right hand. No, his other hand. And you're just like, you got to be so patient with the people sometimes. And like coming from a grappling background and doing it since I was so young, like it's easy to probably just be like, oh, this guy just sucks. This guy's uncoordinated. He's goofy. But like to be an adult and just jump into grappling with no prior, you know, experience with it or anything like that has to be so bizarre and foreign. And I try to relate to that when I'm, you know, teaching or working with newer people. And I've gotten better at and become more patient over the years, you know, but props to anyone who does just join grappling in a later stage in life. Cause like I said, I can't relate to that. I can't imagine. I've been doing it since I was young. So it's just something I was familiar with.
Yeah. It's definitely, coaching is a skill, and that thing of like breaking stuff down for beginners is definitely a skill as well. Yeah. We've a bunch of guys in the gym right now who are like, they're like English as a second language, you know, so that's like another barrier again, where you're trying to talk to a dude and he's like, yeah, I'm not sure what that means. You're like, oh, hold on, let me try and put that a different way.
Yeah. You just got to grab them and show them.
Yeah, sometimes you do, yeah, honestly, and it's easier for sure. But,
I wanted to ask too. Have you ever had someone hit the ceiling in your gym? Has anyone ever got picked up and slammed or like lifted into the ceiling in there?
Not so far. Like we've had a couple of close calls. I don't really teach any of the high throws. Like I don't teach any shoulder throws, or we do like maybe like hip throws would be kind of. Dude, just the heels. Yeah, you'd be worried about them, not the head so much, but like clocking the heels, or like even high, you know, say like a high crotch lift or something like that. You'd be worried they might fucking walk into the, because like, say, I think the lights are at like 7.5 foot, you know what I mean? So if a dude is tall, you pick some dude up, he'd easily fucking smack his head in.
I recall some tall motherfuckers at your school. There was definitely some big boys.
Yeah, you got some big dudes. Yeah, got some big dudes. Had Dylan in there. Do you remember Dylan? That big dude, he's like, what is he? He's like 6'3". I think at the time when you were in, he was like sitting around 120. But yeah, he's still banging away. He was in there last night. He had an MMA fight recently, and he got possibly the worst cut I've ever seen in my fucking life. He's split like right down here, and the thing was like gaping open. There's a bro, and like loads of, I think he got 10 stitches in it, but yeah.
Do you
It's all
corner
healed
MMA
up
as
now.
well?
No, I haven't. I would have liked it, but yeah, I just wasn't around. He's training up at a different MMA school as well, so he had those guys come down. But yeah, we've had a few guys like talking about MMA, but nobody really. One dude did the Wimp to Warrior program, but he was kind of the only one who actually took the step into MMA who wasn't already doing it, you know.
Cornered a lot of fights over the years. It's been a long time since I did. I don't really have many guys that you know, have those aspirations, and I don't really feel good about swaying people into that, because it's a fucking totally different game, and they got to know what they're getting themselves into and really want to do it, because you're risking a lot. It's not the same as a grappling competition. It's all the nerves and all the, you know, anxiety amplified by 100, because you're getting hit in the head and you can get knocked out in front of everybody. You get brain damage. Like it's a lot more consequential. So I've stepped a little bit away from coaching that. I still love it. It's fun as hell. You get the adrenaline with the guy, but like for that same reason, like I don't exactly feel great about swaying people into it unless they come to me and they're all about it.
Yeah, for sure. And like I think if you're going into MMA, like planning to take fights, like you got to be all about it. You know what I mean? Like there's dudes out there who are like living that shit. So if you're gonna step into a fucking cage with someone like that, you want to be fucking ready for it.
And coaching and trying to run a school or a team, you realize sometimes MMA fighters are some of the selfish guys and the dicks, and they're not really team players. They're just in it to come beat up on some bodies and get what they can out of the gym and whatnot. Not all of them, of course. And again, with the consequences of it, you can't really blame them for looking out for themselves and doing what they got to do. But it's definitely a different culture.
We've been pretty lucky. We've had a few guys through, you know, who were training in other schools, but just coming through to get rounds. And we seem to have like got all the cool dudes through our gym. We've never had any weirdos through like that. You know what I mean? Because that is the expectation that you would have with MMA guys, is that they're going to be a little bit rougher. They're going to be a little bit more crazy or aggressive, you know, but generally like vast majority of people we've had through are like just super chill roles, which is awesome. Like, again, it's that thing of like, maybe they're just like good at keeping the intensity low because they know it's going to fucking, once you go into competition.
For sure. Have you done a lot of striking yourself?
Not a huge amount. So I did some with the ninjutsu when I was training with those guys. It was kind of be like similar to Kyokushin, you know, so like full contact from the neck down, so no punching to the face, but like bare knuckle full contact, and then you could kick to the head, which is like, I don't understand why you would fucking,
just because it's harder to do, I suppose, but it's much more devastating.
Like, if you're not going to allow people to punch to the face, why would you allow them to kick to the head, you know? But yeah, not very many people got kicked in the head anyway. But and then did some Muay Thai. I was training with Dave from the Hammerhead Muay Thai gym around the corner for a while, and then just a few of the guys had come in with some either boxing or kickboxing background, so we used to do some rounds in the gym as well, just for fun, you know. But yeah, not a huge amount. If I was probably a fucking early stage blue belt, if I was to put it in jiu-jitsu terms.
Right. And
but it's fun. I enjoy it. Like I love Muay Thai clinch. That's my favorite.
Absolutely. And that kind of transfers over to collar and elbow as well. Cause like I was saying about the upright stance, like same with Muay Thai, you see a lot of foot sweeps in there, and they're not hunching and hiding their hips because their head's going to be down for a knee or, you know, an elbow or something. So all their trips come from that same type of posture. But the collar and elbow, I was going to say, the strategy and the way that it's, you know, played is pretty similar to striking, because it's only a handful of moves, but you got to like put them together intricately and like in combination with each other. Just like there's the jab, the cross, the hook, the uppercuts. That's about it. Figure out how to, you know, employ it. Just like there's a few foot sweeps and you got to kind of figure out how to do it. So I was like a fist fight with the feet. It is more like striking strategically than it is, you know, jiu-jitsu, I would say.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. It's like that thing about feinting, you know, you got to show them something, try and make them bite in a feint so that then you can set something up off it.
Sun Tzu, Art of War, like first chapter, all warfare is based on deception.
That's what he says.
How about weapons? You ever dabble in any weapons? Strong. Exactly.
Yeah, we used to do a load in that ninjutsu as well. Yeah, so trying to think what we did, like sword, spear, chain. Then we did a little bit with the knives, and then they had these. Don't know if you ever seen kama. It's like a Japanese sickle, so it's like a
Yeah.
like a straight stick with
Like a
a
farmer's
beak.
tool.
Yeah. It's a side, like they would have used it like a sickle, but yeah. So with that, and then the fucking throwing stars,
Oh yeah.
the
Sick.
sticks, like 6 foot and 3 foot sticks, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So
It's all
yeah, it's good crack. I enjoyed it. Yeah. And we used to do some kind of like grappling related stuff, especially with the sticks, where you'd have like a stick, some dude's trying to grab that stick off you. So you can kind of use his grip almost as either as a grip break or as like a entry to a lock or something like that. You know what I mean?
yeah. And
So
I know
some of it was
my
kind
boy
of grappling
Nathan.
related as well.
Nathan the
Pardon?
Rambling Kern, when I met up with him and he showed me some shillelagh. I went and bought a shillelagh with him, and he gave me a stick fighting
Nice.
lesson, and he showed me some cool grapples, like some chokes with the stick, some clinches and stuff. I thought that was awesome. But like when we were drilling the actual like blocks and like stuff with the sticks, my impression was, dude, this is fucking terrifying. Like this hard ass stick just whipping at
Dude.
me. And like, I'm like, I would want nothing to do with this if I'm being totally honest. Like, I can't believe these guys used to beat the fuck out of each other with this.
Yeah, and that thing of like the kind of like, it's almost like that whipping motions, and the fucking lump at the end of the stick is crazy, man. The noise, fuck.
And what's brutal about collar and elbow, like everyone wants to reference how judo was like, the samurai's battlefield art, and they were, when they disarmed their guy and they would grab him and get him down and then try to stab him and shit. Obviously that's badass, but the collar and elbow was also forged in like the faction fights, like 20 on 20, 50 on 50 rumbles with sticks. You're not exactly trying to roll around on the ground or anything. You're going to grab the dude and try and neutralize his ability to hurt you. And you're left with your legs to either like trip him up, knock him down so you can batter him with a stick or trample him.
Yeah.
So collar and elbow is a battlefield art itself. Maybe I'll have to have a faction fight at next Wrestling Wars, just 10 on 10 stick fight.
Jesus Christ, that'd be awesome. That'd be
It
awesome.
would be
I hope
wild,
you're going
right?
to wear some fucking face masks, because you're going to leave some teeth behind if you don't.
For real. One time though, so we have the wheel now for the overtime. The first few events that I did, like the first one ever was collar and elbow only. And then the subsequent ones, I just started sticking with catch wrestling because I was like, this is almost like if WWE was real, like they have the one-off matches in WWE, like hardcore match, ladder match, whatever, tag match. Like the base match is just pin or submit. Then on the side, we can have collar and elbow. We can have whatever tag team and this stuff. But I didn't want people to start gaming for the overtime. Like you see for a while when the EBI rules was the number one thing, people would just stall out the regulation and then they would get really good at the back escape. Like they would just escape back quicker than the other guy, or they would hold back quicker or longer than the other guy. And I didn't want people to game the overtime. So I made every event, I wouldn't tell the guys what the overtime was until like the days before the tournament. And it would be different every time. Like one time it was the back hold, one time it was sumo, one time it was just takedown. And then like pretty much everything I have on that list or the wheel was on the overtime. But one time we made it, they had a choice to do a foam weapon sparring match. Like,
that's awesome.
Just like foam swords. And we had one go to it and people liked it. And I even had wrestlers be like, dude, are you going to bring back the foam weapons? Like that was sick, but it's on hiatus right now. I just think it's silly and it's goofy. That's not why I took it away. That's why I added it, honestly, because it made it funny. But I just think it was too hard to judge and a little bit like, imagine you did a serious grappling match and now you have to decide it with a childish fucking stick fight where it's like, all right, did you hit the guy or did he hit you? I don't know. This guy wins. It's not decisive enough for me.
And like, was your one just, was that the back of the blade or was that the front of the blade? I couldn't.
Yeah, it was like a headshot. It won it instantly. And like, I made a point system of it. But again, I was trying to stay away from points. So that's why I ultimately removed it. Headshot, 3 points. Body shot, 2 points. Arm or leg, 1. 3 points wins the match. Or a takedown wins the match. Like that was the wrestling aspect. If you like blocked him and got him down, you won. But if you took a headshot or like 2 body shots or something, match was over. It was fun, but maybe we'll bring it back as a separate thing.
Yeah. There's definitely an interest in that Western martial arts now. The kind of sword fighting stuff. There's a huge interest in it right now. Seems to be a big revival.
Dude, I think that armored fighting is awesome. The medieval MMA, shit's great.
Crazy, dude. It's crazy. Oh my God. And like, they're so fucking, they hit so hard with that shit. Like, I thought it was going to be sparring, but they're literally beating the heads off each other with those fucking
CTE speed run.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I remember seeing one where the dude just came out and like head kicked a dude. He'd like dropped the fucking weapon, just fucking head kicked him. Oh, and it was just like fucking pounding.
And what's goofy is about the team ones that they have where it's like 20 on 20 or like 10 on 10. Yeah, it's essentially just like wrestling or football, because if you get knocked down, you lose. And like the weapons obviously aren't sharp, so you're not cutting the guy and doing damage. You're essentially just protected from taking hits. You're hitting each other for fun, but ultimately it's a game of knockdown. It's like if you can wrestle, you just like go check the guy to the ground. That's that. So I would love to at least get one encounter in one of those. I've got a couple things I need to knock off the list. I need to do a collar and elbow match, which that's going to come. I'll have the opportunity for that eventually. I want to do one of those night fights, and I want to do one fixed professional wrestling match at least. Like, that'd be so fun.
You're talking about a work, yeah, not a shoot.
Yeah. And I
That'd
think
be
that I'll
awesome.
make that
We
happen.
could
I think
probably
I'd be a
make that
good
happen.
heel.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Josh Barnett's Bloodsport?
I did watch some of it. Yeah. Not, I can't remember when. It was a while ago.
So
But yeah, I watched some of
it's
it.
it's pro wrestling. It's a work, but it's like more like grappling. Kind of like if you and me would just go roll and like neither one of us is trying to finish each other. We're just like letting each other work and making it theatric. That's kind of more what it's like. I would love to do that. And I told him one time, I was like, dude, you got to let me have one. Like, get me on there. And he might have been just, in the moment, like, yeah, sure, we'll do it. But I hope that he actually holds good on that and puts me on it one day.
Yeah. Just got to make your character and start shit talking him on the internet the whole time.
Exactly.
Josh Barnett is terrified to put me on his show because I will kill everyone.
I'll be the collar and elbow guy, the heel, the collar supremacist.
Yeah. There's your gimmick.
Exactly. Love it. Were you a
You're
WWE
like going
guy?
wearing the jacket, and like the jacket has magnetic properties, so people are unable to let go.
Now we're going McDojo. I'm gonna energy blast him. Well, my last thing I did,
Unless you're
I was on
chicken.
a jiu-jitsu. Well, it was just a grappling event. It was called Ninja Grappling. It was cage grappling. The rules were, I liked it. It was like a round format, like kind of like CJI is doing, like 3 rounds, like judging, like MMA type of deal. In this one though, first round there was no guard pulling and there was no ankle locks or heel hooks because I guess the promoter thought nobody wanted to see like instant heel hooks or like who's gonna get the heel hook first. So like couldn't pull guard in the first round, could not heel hook. And I like leg locks. I'm a leg locker, so I don't really have a problem with that. But I mean, I like the forced wrestling aspect of it. So I had a match of that. And my plan was to go in and use catch wrestling, or if it stayed standing long enough, use collar and elbow and try and trip out the guy's feet a whole bunch. And I had a rash guard that looked like a tuxedo shirt, but it was the collar and elbow jacket.
Oh, that's awesome.
And after I won the match, I put on the collar and elbow jacket. So I'm trying to fly that flag whenever I can. Even if I did no collar and elbow, like I can go submit the guy with a triangle choke and then just be like, yeah, that was collar and elbow.
Yeah,
that was collar and elbow.
Like the more
That's the
ridiculous you
brand, and
make
I'm running
it,
with
the
it.
more people will believe you.
Exactly. Were you
You
WWE
can start
guy?
releasing instructionals on collar and elbow triangles.
I thought about doing a collar and elbow instructional. At first, I was like, nah, who cares? Nobody's really into it. But at this point, I think I might have to.
Definitely
Gotta
interest.
start somewhere.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely interest. People are selling fucking Aikido wrist lock instructionals. You know what I mean?
Do you utilize online instructionals at all? Because when I was not belonging to a school or didn't have a coach or anything, that was my source of learning. I used to watch tons of film.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It's tough for us because like my coach Jeremy is in California, so you don't get a lot of like direct one-on-one time with him. So like when he's over, we'll always get training in with him when he's over. But yeah, a lot of the time you're having to rely on online stuff, But it's very useful. I think even people who are training directly under a coach are doing it these days, because your coach is never going to specialize. There's so much stuff out there. Your coach can never be the source of knowledge for like every part of jiu-jitsu.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's just too much, or every part of grappling, never mind jiu-jitsu. I think people get too eager too soon. I think it's probably more like an intermediate / advanced training tool. You know what I mean? I think for beginners, it can be
right.
Like they don't have enough of a feel for their own body to kind of translate that through into what they should be doing, But yeah,
It
super
becomes a
useful.
little bit of information overload too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Instagram
just that thing
jiu-jitsu.
of like, yeah. Some good shit out there. There's definitely some fucking, there's some weird, I've definitely like come across videos where you're like, what the fuck are these dudes even doing here? Like just flashy shit,
Yeah. Yeah, not my thing. I really am not a big tech guy. I don't like having to post on social media, and I feel weird about trying to like promote my own stuff that way. It's kind of a necessity nowadays, but
yeah, for sure.
There's some goofy snake oil salesmen out there in jiu-jitsu turning it McDojo-y.
For sure. Yeah. It was just that thing about getting eyeballs, you know what I mean? Like you need eyeballs, and sometimes the easiest way to get eyeballs on something is to post something controversial, even if you don't particularly believe it,
For
You're just
sure,
doing, fuck it,
unfortunately.
I'll put this up, people are going mad, I'll get a bit of attention, and that's gonna translate then into fucking, you know what I mean?
Hit the algorithm. I was gonna ask, who would you say is your three biggest, I don't know, martial arts influences or grappling influences or idols or whatever? Who's played the most factors in you as a grappler?
Like at the moment, or just in general?
in general, like someone you looked up to or styled off of, or that you're currently, taking influence from.
Yeah.
Of
Well, like obviously 10 Planet Gym, so it's got to be Eddie.
course.
Like did a lot of like just traditional 10 Planet stuff when I was starting out. You know what I mean? Like played a lot of lockdown, played a lot of rubber guard, played a lot of truck. I still play loads of truck. I don't play so much rubber guard, but that's kind of like because I'm trying to play on top much more. Like I'm trying to sweep, so I don't find myself in close guard too much. I still play a lot of lockdown. I play like you remember the old school. Do you remember that old school sweep? So I
Oh
play
yeah.
like lockdown, old school, and then a lot of dogfighting, a lot of truck still. And then I suppose like say like I don't know, Lachlan and Craig Jones, I think I've been watching a lot of their stuff lately. Lachlan's great. I think he's a really good coach, and Craig is good as well, man. I like his like the power top stuff and the power ride
I was
stuff.
about to say
Thought it was very
he's
interesting.
trending towards a little bit more like catch style stuff with the pinning and getting up, like
Folk
just
style
stand up
shit.
type of shit.
Yeah. And he has a wall wrestling video out as well. I haven't got around to watching that, but yeah, that looks like
Interesting.
good shit as well. And then like we used to watch a lot of Ryan Hall back in the day. I thought he was fucking great as well, man. Like really good triangle stuff back in the day, and some of the front headlock stuff was amazing as well. Back before people knew what fucking anaconda jokes were.
Right.
Ryan was fucking dancing anaconda and people all over the place. But yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And what would your top three be if you were to? And obviously, don't get me wrong, Bruce Lee. You know what I mean? Let's give Bruce Lee his credit.
For sure. I'm gonna have to say one of them early on was for sure Fedor. I was a big Fedor fanboy, and the reason I wanted to get good at
Yeah.
like throws and stuff like that is I always thought it was so badass how he'd be as soon as he would like lock up with a guy, they're flying through the air. Like they'd be striking, and then as soon as they grab, he's like on top, and no matter what, they'd be in
Boom.
some sort of weird scramble or clinch, but he end up on top, just throwing the guys from the weirdest positions. So I definitely always liked Fedor. I liked Matt Hughes early on, how he would just like power choke someone from the front
Yeah.
headlock, just squeeze him out cold and shit like that. And Gary Tonin for sure, because like I said, when I was kind of getting away from MMA, when I had those eye injuries and shit, Gary was like just coming up, and I'm about the same age as him. And I remember thinking like, well, shit, if this guy can do it, why can't I? Like, I'm not too old yet. I was only like 22, 23. I was having those eye injuries, and I was like, dude, it's not too late. You can easily grapple. Like, it seems like grappling is a viable option because of him and like his, willingness to go do all these matches and absolute matches and take on like steroid terror dudes. And yeah, he definitely influenced me as well. And then I
Yeah.
like
Such a
everyone
great
else
style
kind of
as
took.
well. He's so unorthodox.
Oh yeah, I love that. I love all the weird stuff and just, unorthodox entries to moves and just like his Grammy rolls and shit. He's exciting. Like everybody I think I took from John Danaher's style when he was, putting his team on the map. And I like to call it the era of the panic taps, like 2018, 2017 era, like when if you were dabbling in leg locks, you just get the tap tap. No, I don't do that shit, brother.
Oh,
Like it's
dude,
not worth it. Like
yeah.
everybody was tapping and
It
you
was
got like a
so
false
easy.
sense of
Yeah.
security. Like, oh, I'm a fucking leg locker, dude. I
Yeah.
leg lock everybody. But really everybody just sucked at leg
Yeah.
locks and wanted to tap because they were too scared.
Yeah, and Eddie Bravo was fucking early on that leg lock game. He was pushing the leg locks, and like to the point where like people would come over to visit us, and they'd be like, "Oh man, we don't, just all you 10 Planet heads are like leg lockers now." You know what I mean? And like that was never really a thing. It was just like early adoption. I think most of the 10 Planet
Right.
schools just dived in early on it. But it's just such a part of the modern game now as well.
Definitely. I'd also have to throw Josh Barnett and Eric Paulson in there too, because I would,
Of
like I said,
course.
when I would watch mad videos and I was dabbling in the catch, I would watch their videos. And it's funny because Eric had like full DVDs of leg locks in like the 90s, and nobody
Yeah.
really gave him credit for that. And he was like all over it, even from like he was one of the first people to fight pro in Japan in general. He's a true pioneer. And obviously
Oh,
Josh
absolutely.
was
Yeah.
flying the catch wrestling flag, and some stuff just from the little bit of time that I've gotten to train with Josh, I've definitely picked up some really nice tips. There's a face lock that he does. I don't even like to try and go for the rear naked choke anymore ever since I learned that one from him.
Yeah.
It's just a cross face and then you drag back and it's a neck crank as well. And that one is savage.
Jesus Christ.
It's
That sounds awesome.
definitely a good one.
Don't ever
And,
do it to me.
I'll be sure to spare that one. We'll have to get some rolling in again soon.
For sure. Yeah, Josh is crazy, man. I love that the chest compression choke he hit on Dean Lister.
That
You
match
remember
is
that? I think
awesome. I've
Dean,
watched that so many times.
it's unbelievable. Dean hadn't been hit, like he hadn't been tapped in competition in like over a decade at that stage. You know what I mean? Josh was the first guy to hit him with it. We've actually got like 3 dudes in the gym who fucking hit that chest compression choke all the time.
I do that a lot now
I
too.
hate it. Yeah.
It's the key. The key is you got to get your ear real close and hear their breathing when they're hyperventilating, and you wait for the exhale, and then you go and you do it. Then they can't get a full breath.
Yeah, it's awful.
Seems like such an older brother move.
I mean, it's legit. You know what I mean? If Josh Barnett is gonna tap Dean Lister with it, it's fucking legit. You know what I mean?
100%.
Like, you
it helps
definitely
be as big as strong as he is.
Well, yeah, I mean, for sure.
I've gotten to roll with him too, and you can't even like lock your hands around him. He's so fucking big.
Dude. Yeah, he's a giant. What? He's like 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah, some of those heavyweight MMA fighters, man. I'm so thankful. I used to want to be that big, like when I was younger, and I want to be 7 foot. I want to be Kane. I want to be the Undertaker. I want to choke slam motherfuckers. But then you realize, like, when you're that big, you also have to fight guys that big that hit that hard, that are that strong. Yeah. Like, no, I'm glad I'm a middleweight, welterweight type of guy.
Yeah. So if you had to fight a catch wrestler, you'd pick Sakuraba.
I love Sakuraba too, for sure. He definitely influenced me too. And like when I was kind of getting salty about jiu-jitsu like years ago, and I felt like the community was like exiling me or, kind of mistreating me, or I just wasn't getting along with the culture, I was like, fuck it, Sakuraba, dude. He wrecked the whole Gracie family. Like, he's the real badass. Catch wrestling's where it's at. So long before I actually really got involved with catch, I was admiring it and kind of, trying to take influence with it. But now I find myself fully immersed in it. And hopefully that's doing some service to catch wrestling, that I'm, actually involved with it and competing in other grappling styles. Cause like I said, it's got a pretty poor reputation. Like, it's a joke for the most part outside of Josh. Could anyone name a catch wrestler besides Josh Barnett? Not really.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, I think a lot of it is to do with the lack of gyms. You know what I mean? Like, there aren't very many like catch wrestling gyms around, and the ones that are around, like you say, are like small gyms. They don't compete. Yeah. There's not a great competitive scene in catch at the moment. Like almost everyone who wrestles is going into like collegiate or freestyle. So there's just not, and anyone who wants submissions, like jiu-jitsu is so available now that they just tend to go to jiu-jitsu instead of like trying to find catch anywhere. So yeah, it's just a weird kind of catch 22.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm a fan of puns myself.
Sorry.
With my rule set, with the Wrestling Wars rule set, we have it so you can be pinned no matter what. Like if you have a triangle, if you have a rear naked choke, if you're going for a guillotine, but your shoulders are down, the ref's going to start counting to the 1, 2, 3.
Hey, pinfall. Okay, yeah.
In Josh's rule set, I call it just California catch because that's what it was. He has it so that if you're in the guard or if you have an active submission, you can't be pinned. So like if my legs are around you, you can't pin me. If I have, this is where I like it and I like to compete in it. It's cool. It's different. I don't necessarily think it's ideal because then it's up to the ref's discretion. Like if I have some half-ass Kimura or I'm just kind of like hanging on to your head, but I'm flat on my back, like what's to say it's a legit submission attempt or not? That's why I kind of like just, you're on your back, you're losing. And same with the snake pit tourney. Their rules are different too. And I like it. I compete in it. It's the one that got me the title of world champion, but I don't think it's ideal. Honestly, they don't have chokes with no arm in. So you cannot guillotine. You can't rear naked choke. You can't like Ezekiel.
Oh, okay.
And I like that for the reason that it continues the wrestling. I think they just didn't want someone shooting in right away, getting guillotined, or just every time it's internal, there's a rear naked. And I know that the strangle was just banned from catch sometimes. Like the term no holds barred, that comes from catch wrestling because they would bar the stranglehold. Like, no, we can't be having strangles. People will die. This is too savage. We don't want to see people getting choked out. Or say like, all right, you're going up against Danny. Danny's got a wicked fucking footlock. My manager would be like, no, the footlock is too barbaric. We're not fighting him if he's allowed to do the footlock. And then your manager would be like, no double wrist locks. No, he's going to rip my guy's arm off. So then they'd have like an agreed upon match with like, babied rules. And no one wanted to see that. So it's like, no holds barred. Every move is allowed. But the strangle was like banned in parts of England and stuff too. So I think that's kind of why Snake Pit left it. But their pin is like immediate. If you roll over your back, you're pinned. Like it's like immediate. There's no 1, 2, 3. There's no control. Yeah. If I was to try and like do the freestyle roll and I stayed there for like a second too long, I would lose and I'd be pinned. So it's kind of cool. Like it's worked out for me. I've pinned a bunch of guys in it. I've never actually submitted someone in a catch match. I've won all my catch matches via pin. So the rules have favored me, but I like the 1, 2, 3 or Josh's was a 5 count. Cause then you have to establish the control and it gives the guy a chance to kind of get out versus just Nope, you're on your back, immediate done.
Yeah. I think, yeah, probably a 3 or a 5 count is I would prefer personally, but yeah, I can see why they would want to, like, it's much more risky then, you know what I mean? Like any sort of going to your back is much more risky, or even like
Right.
losing position. So you're going to see a lot more people like staying heavy on top, which is kind of what they're
Yeah.
looking for.
Very high stakes. What I think I like about what I have going is, say, sometimes you get stuck in back control on a really good guy who, you know, he's got a great back game, but advanced grapplers are kind of hard to rear naked choke sometimes. Like they got such good defense that you just end up on their back the whole time and you can't finish, but you're controlling the guy. That can kind of be a boring stalemate. But now if you have the defensive pin, the guy who's being attacked can try to like roll you onto your back, and it kind of creates a dilemma where you have to keep those shoulders up while you're attempting the choke or you risk losing. So it kind of just makes for some dramatic settings. We've had some defensive pins where the guy goes to go for a rear naked choke, his habits fall in and he goes straight to his back and pins himself.
Oh,
so it's unfortunate for those guys, but it does make it kind of cheeky and entertaining.
Yeah. And I suppose the defender then is incentivized to move, you know, where he might be thinking about shelling up. He's like, okay, well, I can win this thing. So he's more likely to like open up and expose something then.
It's definitely, I feel like it's going to catch on more and more. And granted, I'm not the one who came up with fucking tag team. I've seen tag team on WWE. There was another catch league a long time ago that did tag team. So I'm not by any means taking credit for it, but I knew once I started putting on tag matches that we were going to see it more and more. And I've seen quite a few jiu-jitsu leagues around here doing tag team jiu-jitsu. And that's cool. That's still fun. But I think the pin aspect of it is what makes it exciting too, because of what we said. Like you could, of course, you know, this guy's in a triangle. Oh shit, he crawled to his corner. He tagged out. He saved himself, you know? So that aspect is cool and it's just fun. But I think we're going to keep seeing some more tag team. And I think catch wrestling is going to get more popular, and I'm going to do everything I can to make it more popular.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to see it. Yeah. This next
definitely
few years
bringing Wrestling Wars to Ireland. So Team 10th Planet will be prioritized on the roster.
Here we go. Let's go.
Like I said, you guys are a special gym in my heart.
I'll stop. But yeah, let me just check the time. I think we're gone. That's like an hour and a half in. So you want to keep going, or we can break off there, whatever suits
you, my friend. We could wrap it up. I gotta get a lot of shit done before I hit a 16-hour drive to go fly the collar and elbow flag in Boston.
Got to pack those bags, get ready.
Exactly.
Clean underpants. But yeah, thanks for coming on, man. That was super interesting.
Thanks for having me. Yeah. Great conversation.
Yeah, that was epic. And do you want to drop your social medias just so people can check you out, follow you around?
Yeah, sure. You can find my YouTube or my Instagram, Headhunter Higgins, and the Wrestling Wars is just wrestling_wars on Instagram. And all the live streams and videos are on my YouTube channel at Headhunter Higgins. Be sure to check it out June 28th, Wrestling Wars 9. And be sure to look out for my dates in Ireland.
Wicked. There's definitely some interest. I had a guy from who used to train with us was actually texting me to see about the next time you were over. So I was telling him I'd ask you about ask you about it on the podcast. So you heard it here, Paul. There's the dates. Yeah. Check them out.
Well, I would love to come back later in the summer and fall. If you guys would host me again, that'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Hell yeah. We'll make
it happen. All right, buddy. Let's wrap this up. I'm going to press stop.
Sounds good. Where'd you go?
East to West Coast, vibe like we supposed to. Only choking in your ears, now we getting close to.